welcome back to UMass Sports Weekly. We just had a first on the show there. We had two of our members storm off the set. Hopefully that won't happen on this segment we got going here. We have two of our newer members, and that's Brittany Collens and Sanzo. Thank you guys for coming on the set. They're going to be arguing about our UMass Minuteman mascot. So for the first question, I'm going to direct it this way towards Brittany. Do you think UMass students would appreciate a new mascot if we were to change it?
You know, I really don't think that they would because we've actually changed mascots. We were originally the Aggies, and then we were the Redmen until about the early 1970s, and then we finally became the Minutemen here. And the minor problems, such as like girls having to go back to the shops and trade in their sweatshirts and stuff like that, you have to create a whole new logo, and of course all that. But you know, a bigger problem is that we have a connection with the alumni. And with that, you know, if alumni were to come back and talk and it's not the same mascot, there's not that sense of connection and pride that they have when they went here. And I actually had the conversation in Market Basket last week is a guy came up to me and said, "Oh, you're a Redman, aren't you?" And I couldn't understand what he was saying because he was a Redman back before the 1970s. And so that sense of connection that you have with the alumni that is so important to the university's network is just lost when you change mascots continuously.
Well, that's a good point. I honestly didn't even know we were called the Aggies back in the day, so you got me on that one. Phil, counter to that.
Honestly, in my opinion, change might be scary, but who doesn't want a little change? I mean, if you really look at that mascot, if that thing doesn't scare you, you're insane. Because it scares the heck out of me. And I think that's a little bit. I know it's regional, the Minuteman. You go along the whole Massachusetts theme of being like Patriots and all that. I think it's a little played out, you ask me. You have the New England Patriots, obviously an NFL team, George Washington, the George Masons, the Patriots. So I think it's a little played out, and I think the change would be embraced by the students because a new logo, a new face, why not? I mean, I think it would be a really good thing for the school, and I think the students would appreciate it.
Phil, that's a good argument, but I'm going to have to direct the first point over this way, just for the research there and the facts that I learned from Brittany. So now we're going to go to number two, and that's, do you think the mascot means that much to the students? We know that a lot of the students haven't made it out to those UMass football games. It was a great season for them, winning a couple more games than they have in the past couple years. So do you think that mascot means much to the students? We'll start this way.
I think the mascot does mean a lot of students, but along with that, I don't think it should. I don't think it means it has to stay, to be honest with you. I think as long as you have a ferocious mascot, I mean, the Minuteman is definitely something that can be feared. I think you definitely could be, it's something that, if I'm looking at a school and I see it's the Minutemen, I definitely like that. I think it's cool, but at the same time, if you changed it, I think you can create a cooler one. And that sounds a little immature, but I mean, when you're all looking for colleges, an attractive mascot, a cool mascot is something that you want to definitely look at. And like I said, I really don't like the current mascot. It's kind of scary.
Go ahead, Brittany. What do you got to say about that?
Are you from Massachusetts?
No, I am not from Massachusetts.
Okay. Well, a Massachusetts representative here. It actually means a lot to me, and I'm sure on behalf of other Massachusetts kids. Actually, to be a Minuteman is just more than they were just in the militia back in the Revolutionary War there. But actually, to be a Minuteman, it was a elite, small, hand-picked group of men who were ready to quickly assemble to fight. So when you compare that to student athletes and students here, you know, to say that we were, you know, elite and picked from the admissions office, that gives pride, you know what I mean with that. And it feels like when we go out as student athletes, as a tennis player myself, you know, being compared to somebody in the Revolutionary War, you go out and you fight for something as big as that, that's really something to be proud of.
And one more point, if I can add to that.
Go ahead, Phil.
You're right. You said I am not from Massachusetts. Chris, I don't believe you're from Massachusetts.
Oh, he's trying to win me over here. I like it.
Like I said, the school is so big, so diverse, so many people. I don't think you can really say that it's from Massachusetts, that it means that all that much to everyone on campus, how much it means as it does to you, Brittany. So I don't really think that argument could be all relevant in this case, because there are so many people, I believe 22 or 24,000 students, and I really don't believe that, and I know a lot of them aren't all from Massachusetts, so I don't really think that whole Massachusetts Minuteman connection for all the students is all that important.
Well, actually, I thought that was a great thing that our school is not actually all full of Massachusetts kids, but the majority it is because it gives us the opportunity to teach how important Massachusetts is to this country, and it gives us the opportunity
I think New York's pretty important.
to explain.
He's really trying to get me here.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think,
I'm a Knicks
New
fan,
York's
too.
important too, but I think it's really the opportunity to explain the historical importance of the Minutemen and Massachusetts here is a great opportunity for everyone to learn.
I'm going to cut it short there. I'm going to give Phil the point on that one just so we make it a little interesting going forward. And the last question, it's tied 1-1. Sam the Minutemen's our mascot, and is it unfair to women? We'll start out with Brittany.
I actually think UMass does a pretty good job because there's like rarely any schools that have both, a male name and a female name, whereas we have the Minute Women and the Minutemen. And I know, and it would be politically incorrect or historically incorrect to say that Minute Women actually weren't a part of that, but they actually did play pretty big roles back in history, maintaining the house and doing all that while the men were out there fighting. But if we were to change the mascot to something like the Huskies, it's still usually a male, like the Yukon Jonathan and the Husky, and Syracuse Otter the Orange. If we were to change it, it would be even less, I would think, fair to women because we feel equal while having like the Minute Women title.
You look at a lot of sports teams. Usually, it's the ones that can do have a man mascot, and then you have a female mascot to appeal to the female crowd, the female sports, and everything. If you were to have a female Minute Woman, it would be a little politically incorrect because there were no such thing. And I feel that if you changed it to something where you can have a female mascot, physical mascot to go along with the male mascot, it might be a little more fair to the two sports and the two people. Now, and I think also, like I said before, I think if you were to change the mascot, it could bring a whole new atmosphere. And I don't think that going along with gender and men and women, it would be all that much of a difference if you were to change the mascot.
If you were to change the mascot, would it still be a male, like I said, Yukon? Would it still be a male? Because, I mean, if you put it as a female, I think a lot of people would argue, like, why do we have a female one? Which is why I think it's so important that we have Minute Men and Minute Women, regardless of the correctness of the terms. And you said yourself you're for change, so why not?
I would definitely, hey, if it's going to be a woman, why not? Honestly, I don't have anything against that, but I don't have against being a man mascot being, just trying to do a whole thing of, like, sexism right here, but if it's a man mascot, that's the face, that's great too. I just think you can't have a Minute Woman physical mascot be a little politically incorrect, but I think if you were to change it and give yourself the ability to have a physical man mascot, physical woman mascot, it'll be all for the better.
I'll stop it right there. And then this was a tough one. You guys both present great arguments. You guys both are on the set for one of your first or second times. I'm going to have to go Brittany.
It's a tough call.
She did her research. She showed me what she got on her first segment for UMass Sports Weekly, so great job, Brittany. Same to you, Phil. We'll be right back to talk about what a sport is and how we classify that here at UMass Sports Weekly. Stay tuned.